I guess as winter approaches, people don't want to pick up their stuff quite as fast. Strangely enough, one of them is for the fall season, or two of them, and one of them is for winter. I've debated if I really wanted to charge storage fees. I always thought maybe $10 a week. I mean, some people charge $10 a day. So $10 a week, you know, because you got to come out and you got to start them every week just to keep gas going through them, because you don't want anything to mess up while they're waiting. You know, you're waiting for them to pick it up. You know, I start my stuff every month, but I don't want to take any chances with their stuff, so I start them every week. And depending on what it is, I might even use them. Like the blowers, I'll blow around a little bit just to make sure they're good and running. Now, the chainsaw is starting to aggravate me. He brought it over on a Saturday, and at about 2:30, and I worked on it. I mean, he said it wasn't running, but I started right up, and I instantly messaged him. Instantly. This thing runs fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, he gets back with me a couple hours later. Can you sharpen the chain? So I sharpened it, although the chain is shot. So I'm not charging him anything for this chainsaw. I didn't do any work to it. And I can't charge for sharpening because the chain was shot. So I told him everything's good to go. Okay. So I think on Monday, that was Saturday, I think on Monday he said, can I pick it up after 5? Well, I close at 4, but you know, if I'm around, sure. Well, he doesn't show up. So that Friday, he messages and says, can I come by after 5? Sure. Doesn't show up. So here it is, we're almost another week into it, and he still hasn't messaged or showed up. I mean, that one's kind of aggravating. Now, this one, he told me he wasn't going to be back. You know, some of these folks live out of town. They have summer homes here, so they'll drop it off. In this case, I actually had to go pick it up from their place, and they weren't even home. They were back in Kansas City. So he said it's going to be 3 weeks. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So this guy, I guess I was confused because Carolyn didn't hear what I heard, or hear it the same way, I should say. We both heard the same thing. Now, my phone was echoing really bad. Every time I would say something, it would repeat it as clear as day. So maybe I was just getting frustrated with the phone. But when he called, we were at the Walmart parking lot. We had just dropped off a piece of equipment. So we stopped over at Walmart, and I said, yeah, we're dropping off a piece of equipment. He says, well, I got a snowblower and different things. And he says, since you're over there in town, go over there to the service center. There's a small engine repair. Well, they sell Husqvarna is what it is. So a dealership. He said, go over there and get the parts for these things, for the leaf blowers, to save time. I said, well, if you want to buy them, you can go over there and get them. You know, otherwise I'll use my parts. Something to that effect. Well, I thought he was in a hurry because that's what he said. Save time. Carolyn didn't get that impression, but of course, like I said, I was dealing with that phone. So anyway, he said I called him yesterday. I got this done, and so I picked him up probably noonish one day, ordered the parts immediately, and then not the next day, but the day after, got them up and running and fixed and cleaned, and so I thought he was going to need them in a hurry. So I said I'd even pick, I picked them up because we were coming back from town. So I even charged, added the extra charge to deliver them. He said, no, I'll come pick them up next week sometime. So we got more stuff here now that the season's over with, waiting for pickup, than we did during the summer. I don't know. I mean, there's $200 sitting here. The chainsaw sitting here, there's no labor in that, so I'm just sitting on someone's junk stuff. So the point of the video today is I'm getting kind of frustrated with mechanics who claim they're lawnmower mechanics. They're tinkerers is what they are. They're hobbyists, and they thought, hey, which I admit, this is a hobby business, but I have worked on mowers my entire life. And I ran a quasi business. It was less of a hobby business back then. It was just, you know, for the neighborhood. I didn't advertise or anything. So, but I worked on lawnmowers most of my life. So I have a pretty good idea. You know, I know what I'm doing. So I don't think I have failed at repairing a lawnmower in years. Like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to have to get some advice or something. I mean, occasionally I'll confirm what I already know. I'll get on Google and I'll confirm it just to make sure. The other day I had two problems at the same time. I had an ignition problem and I had a carburetor problem. The problem was it was a two-cylinder and it was a 2-barrel carburetor. So one side was running fine. The spark and the carburetor was running fine. But on this side, the ignition coil, a mouse had chewed through the ignition coil, and the right-hand 2-barrel carburetor, let's just call it barrel number 2, wasn't working. It was clogged. So that cylinder just did not want to go, that one cylinder. So I confirmed, I forget what I had to look up. Anyway, I had to look something, not that I had to look it up. I was pretty confident whatever it was the case, but I just wanted to confirm that's what it was. So I don't get off Facebook and ask a bunch of questions, but I have reported to you that I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook of people saying, I've got this customer, and they send a picture of the belt assembly, you know, and the belts keep coming off. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. Well, you get a new belt, you check all the pulleys. I mean, this is just not rocket science here. And you have a customer, and they all of them think that you got to charge $100 an hour minimum, sometimes $200 or $150 an hour for no experience. They have no idea. It's just a get-rich-quick scheme is all it is to them. And so I charge, I don't hardly charge anything. I charge a quarter less than what the shops in, well, I charge a quarter of what the shops in town, than the two big towns charge. And in Kansas City, I charge a lot less than in Kansas City. So, I'm not trying to get rich. I just like to work on lawnmowers and get paid for it a little bit, supplement the YouTube income, that kind of stuff. You know, I may raise my prices later as people get more comfortable with what we do. I kind of raised my prices this year on some stuff, and it was more of a judgment call. Like, okay, this was a bigger job than, like, I changed out the transmission, or I had to take the transmission off one of the lawnmowers, completely disassemble it, and I got through it really quick. But the manual said it was supposed to take like 3 hours to do, and I didn't come close to that. Well, I went ahead and charged 3 hours, so that was kind of a judgment call because it was a complicated job, and if it needed warranted, I need to be able to cover my costs on that. So I'm always frustrated with these guys getting on Facebook, and John will know because he sees my trolling. I will troll these guys. Yeah, I will tell them that they shouldn't be working on them. If you want to work on a lawnmower, which I'm totally fine with, I would encourage you to work on your own lawnmower. But if you want to make money at it, until you learn how to work on a lawnmower, then what you need to do is buy a used lawnmower off Facebook Marketplace for next to nothing, or a free one. Go around, pick up push mowers. You can see them on the side of the road all the time, and repair them and sell them. That way you're making money and you're learning how to do it. But don't take customers, and don't get on Facebook saying, I got a customer. I mean, think about it. It's quite possible that the customer is on that same Facebook group, and he's looking at this guy saying, hey, you got my mower and you don't know how to work on it? You're going to charge me $100 an hour? I don't think so. And it gives other mechanics bad names. I've told you about this YouTuber. This YouTuber, he doesn't get on YouTube to show you how to fix things. He gets on YouTube so you'll tell him how to fix things. And he holds this live feed every week, every Saturday. And it's a split screen. There's multiple YouTubers on his live feed. And so he's sitting there bragging about how great he is, and he's been doing this, 25 years and everything. And then this other guy comes on and says, I got this chainsaw. He says, I've been on YouTube 15 years. That's what he said. I've been on YouTube 15 years making lawnmower repair videos. Because, they introduce themselves to the audience. He says, I'm 72 now, and I don't know. I was 59 when I started, whatever he said. I don't remember. But so he's been working on lawnmowers for at least 15 years. And he says, I got this chainsaw right now that's I'm going to charge $125 for. And looks like I'm going to make about $1 an hour. Meaning he's been working on this for 125 hours. I can't really figure out what's wrong with it. There's just not that much when it goes into working on things. There's just not that much on lawnmowers, chainsaws, weed eaters. They're just, chainsaws and weed eaters are absolutely a ton easier. I've completely rebuilt, you've seen me do it, a chainsaw. It's down in the camper. I use it. I used it last winter. It's every part except the case on that chainsaw is brand spanking new. New engine. New carburetor, new ignition coil, new bar, new chain, new oiler, everything, and none of it is OEM. So, even though it says Stihl on the side of it, it's not a Stihl chainsaw. It's an Amazon chainsaw. And it runs great. So, they're just not that hard to work on. I can't figure out what's wrong with it. It's just, I'm not going to make any money on this. Well, then, you don't charge him. You tell the guy, I don't know what's wrong with it. Be honest. Stop working on chainsaws. You don't know what you're doing. Look, the diagnostic process I've showed you on my other channel. If you want to, you can go over there and check it out. It's just so simple. And it always starts out with starting fluid. That's where you always start. You take, it doesn't matter what you do. Starting fluid, you do that first. So you take and I always drain the gas first. Usually I take the gas out of it just to see if it's going to pop off. So I drain the gas. I put some starting fluid in the carburetor. I pull the rope or the key or whatever. If it pops off, yay! Now you know that you have a fuel delivery issue. That's all you know right now. So that means you have something wrong with the gas, something wrong with the fuel line, something wrong with the carburetor. But everything else is okay. So you start with the gas and you just work your way until you get to the carburetor. That's all there is. It's just not that hard. So then you go, if it doesn't pop off, then there's two other things you look at. You look for the cylinder to see if it's got compression. Depending on what you're working on, it could be a valve problem. If it's 2-cycle, it could be a cylinder wall piston is the problem. On a 4-cycle, excuse me, I said 2-cycle. If it's a 4-cycle, you could have bad rings. You could have the valves are misadjusted. But typically, it's pretty simple stuff. It's just not that complicated. And if you've been working on lawnmowers for any length of time, you should know how to do this. Well, one guy gets on Facebook the other day and says, well, I know for sure that AI will never, ever take over lawnmower repair businesses. We will never go out of business because lawnmower repair is gut instinct and blood and sweat. Computers can't do that. No, it's not gut instinct. There is an absolute process to fixing lawnmowers. It's a process. You just go through the steps. If you go to Google AI and you say, my carburetor my lawnmower is surging, what should I do? It'll say, check your fuel, see if it's got water in it, check your carburetor, clean your carburetor. And so it's right. That's what you should do. This isn't gut instinct. The way you have to think about an engine is it goes down an assembly line and they put parts on it. And each part has a process. So if you were working at the company, I used to work at a company called Pazload Pneumatic Nail Guns. And I knew how to rebuild a pneumatic air gun like blindfolded. It's just not that hard. Of course, a regular person may not know how to do it, but it's just simple. And so all you gotta do is order parts, learn how to order parts on these lawnmowers, and you're set. So if a robot with artificial intelligence was coming out to look at a lawnmower, it would be easy for the artificial intelligence to do. Starting fluid. If it runs, then you know you have a fuel problem. If it doesn't, then check spark, and then compression. That's it. That's all there is to it. The computer would know if you had like an electrical problem. You know, it would have all the tools built in right here on his fingers. It'd have an ohms meter and a voltage meter. It's not gut instinct, and I just find it absolutely amazing that these people claim to be experts. One guy came on today. I'm a lawnmower mechanic from Ontario. Ask me anything. And so I asked him. I sent him a picture of a scored cylinder of a chainsaw. I said, "What does this mean?" "I don't know. What is it?" Anybody who has seen a picture of a scored cylinder would know immediately what that is. There's just no denying it. So, I'm a lawnmower mechanic. Well, why are you bragging? If you're coming into the group, either help people or get information. That's all there is to it. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over to my other channel, I'd really appreciate it if you go check it out. So if I can inspire you to be honest with yourself, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.